You're watching CBS7 News at 9 on the CW and live on the CBS7 YouTube channel with Alexandra, Macia, and Tom Teeper-Teller.
What she has done is given me $25 gas cards. I keep them in case of an emergency, and if any parent needs that, I'll make sure it happens. MISD also has a transportation organization here in Midland.
A school in Midland is making sure that nothing stops students from attending class, including transportation. How Bunch Elementary is maintaining their attendance record, plus more education stories across West Texas coming up on CBS7 News at 9. Good evening. Thanks for joining us for CBS7 News on the CW, and thanks for joining us live on the CBS7 YouTube. I'm Alexandra, Macia, and we start tonight with a special report. August marks the 20-year anniversary of William Arlen Bynum's disappearance from Big Spring. At the time, Big Spring had a population of about 25,000 people. His case is still an active investigation.
I don't know if there's something special about a baby, about your baby. Can't explain it, but I loved him dearly, and he loved his mom.
40-year-old William Arlen Bynum was last seen leaving what was the San Franciscan bar in Big Spring on August 15, 2003 at 1:45 in the morning. Arlen's family sounded the alarm that he was missing when he didn't show up for lunch with his brother-in-law the next day.
His truck was found still parked at the restaurant, so we knew he didn't leave in his own vehicle. So we thought, something could have happened to him. He could have left with someone, but be on the side of the road somewhere, incapacitated. We didn't know. So his friends, everyone was just driving, looking.
All Howard County, dry riverbeds, gulches, because rumors were flying.
A Midland forensic team checked Arlen's apartment and vehicle, but the evidence collected was compromised by the lab personnel and deemed unusable.
I was in contact with the police daily. I was calling them, and what have you found out? I was going out there.
With hope and persistence, Arlen's family and friends never imagined the days of unanswered questions would turn into years.
I was really angry at him. What have you gotten yourself into? Come home. And I was thinking I would get to tell him in person.
Lead after lead, police and family searched to no avail for their beloved Arlen.
Outgoing person, a lovely person. He loved everyone.
If you do talk to anyone and they say he's the kind of guy that would give you the shirt off his back, that's a literal statement.
Arlen's mother, 83-year-old Deanna Hartford, is quite literally suffering from broken heart syndrome. She has her suspicions about the role Arlen's sexuality played in his disappearance.
Wondering why someone could be so ugly and so nasty. Because, and I do think it was a hate crime because our son was gay.
In the web of rumors, there was a common thread.
Killed by somebody, but put into an abandoned well somewhere in Howard County. And we've heard here, we've heard there, but nobody can say whether it was an abandoned oil well or an abandoned water well, but that is the one point that seems to be consistent.
We had searched quite a few tank batteries. We actually did search one water well.
Retired Midland, Texas Ranger Don Williams worked Arlen's case.
The cadaver dogs, to helicopters, to horses, to all kinds of things. And I interviewed a lot of people.
Still missing, Arlen's family refuses to give up hope that someone out there knows what happened.
He was our baby, and even after 20 years, I want him to be brought home.
Somebody knows something, and they have been too frightened to share that. And we hoped after 20 years that fear would have subsided enough that they can come forward and at least anonymously share details of his whereabouts.
The Big Spring Howard County Crime Stoppers are offering a cash reward to the first person that comes forward with information leading to an arrest in the case. The Big Spring Police Department says they cannot comment on an active investigation. And tomorrow we are remembering the lives lost during the tragic mass shooting that happened in Odessa back on August 31st, 2019. Flags were put up yesterday in Memorial Gardens Park to pay tribute to the victims of the shooting. There will be a sunrise service under the Macia deck on UTPB's campus tomorrow at 7 a.m. CBS7's Matthew Alvarez will be live at that service, and the Family Resiliency Center is also holding several tribute events throughout this week. For more information on these, you can go to our website at CBS7.com. And it's time to take a look at weather. Chief Meteorologist Tom Tieferteller is here to tell us what we can expect. Tom?
Well, we are going to be looking at more of the same. Pretty quiet conditions out there. It's going to warm up, though, a little bit more. Let's go ahead and take a look at the high temperatures today. I'll take this any day in the summer, as we saw temperatures into the lower 90s out there. Probably at about 4 or 5 degrees on the afternoon highs tomorrow. In the mountains, a place to be. Look at that, 87 in Alpine. As we take a look outside, we are seeing pretty quiet conditions as that blue moon is rising out there, the super blue moon, as we're seeing temperatures into the mid-80s right now. And those winds, well, they are not all that bad across most locations. And the forecasted high temperatures, as high pressure settles in a little bit more, we're going to be looking at those temperatures again rising into the mid to even upper 90s. Could be touching triple digits early part of next week. So Labor Day weekend, not looking all that bad for everything outdoors, just a little on the hot side.
Thanks, Tom. In your health headlines, the United States has seen a recent uptick in COVID-19 cases. That trend is showing up in Midland and Ector counties, where cases have tripled in the last 5 weeks. This yellow line marks the total COVID-19 cases in both counties, and it's risen from about 26 to 110 since the week ending July 29th. That number is drastically lower than numbers we saw in the midst of the pandemic, but local health experts have taken notice. They say summer travel and a return to school may play a role. A more recent variant called Iris is also highly contagious. While cases have risen, medical center staff say they're seeing mostly mild cases. Currently, people are mistaking COVID-19 for allergies or the flu.
If you're having symptoms, test yourself, because you definitely don't want to be spreading it to other people. Any symptoms, sore throat, fever, body aches, test yourself. Because a lot of people think it's not COVID, and it really is.
When looking at positive cases, it's also important to note many people test at home, which means they aren't reported to health departments. As of August 19th, COVID hospitalizations increased by about 18% and deaths rose by about 21% in the United States compared to the previous week. And in your education news, college students across the nation will have to worry about paying their federal student loans once again. The student loan payment pause is coming to an end this Friday. This is setting up a potential financial shock for college students and alumni across the nation. About 44 million Americans were affected by the loan payment pause.
So anytime you have to restart paying for something, it's a big adjustment. And so we really hope that people that have loan debt will take care to make sure they don't go into default.
The Biden administration extended the pause for the 8th time last November, but will not do so again as part of the bipartisan debt ceiling deal approved by Congress. And across West Texas, the Pecos-Barstow-Toya ISD School Board unanimously approved a tax reduction. According to the district, the rate reduction of nearly 4 cents gives the district one of the lowest tax rates in the state. PBT-ISD says that even with this reduction in tax rate, they still are on track to pay off all debts by 2029. Superintendent Brent Jaco says in a statement, quote, "This decision showcases our dedication to ensuring that quality education remains accessible while alleviating the burden on our valued taxpayers," end quote. And Midland ISD announced last week that enrollment numbers surpassed 28,000 students. This is the first time in MISD history that this has happened. However, one school is going above and beyond to make sure students aren't just enrolled, but also going to class every day. Bunch Elementary's attendance record has been consistent throughout the last couple of years. The school's principal, Krista Daniel, says last year the school had an attendance percentage of 93%, but this year she wants to raise that percentage to 96%.
I had two girls this morning celebrate their class because they got 100% 2 days in a row. And so when I asked them why they were excited, they said, because we cannot wait to dance with you on Friday, Miss Daniel.
One of the incentives involves what's called an attendance parade. If by every Friday the school meets its goal, they have a big dance parade in the school with teachers and staff to celebrate. The goals can be to have a 94% attendance that week, less than 50 kids absent a day, or if they have one of their best attendance records of the school year. In Odessa, ECISD confirmed that there was a small fire today in Nimitz Middle School. According to the district, it was in a girls' bathroom. The school was evacuated, but the district says this was just a precaution. Now for a story you'll only see on CBS7. On average, a hibiscus flower can grow up to 8 to 10 inches, about the width of a sheet of paper. Now, one man from Hobbs, New Mexico was setting records with his flowers. For the last 8 years, David Achando has been growing hibiscus flowers, and after 8 years of growing, he set the new world record for the largest pink elephant hibiscus flower at 12 inches. Achando has been studying plants and growing them for over a decade, and during that time has grown thousands of plants. The Hibiscus Flower Project has been the most challenging since Achando's flower grows between 10 to 12 inches.
It means a lot to me because I have been propagating and growing these flowers for 8 years now, and they're just amazing.
The hibiscus flower originates from North America. It's predominantly located around swampy lands, so to be able to grow these plants out here in a desert climate takes a lot of work, and just because these unique flowers are grown in Hobbs doesn't mean they can't be placed in your own backyard.
Yes, they love the west. You can plant them in that horrible, horrible west sun. I would not plant them in a shaded area. You could plant them as a complete border, or you could just plant them periodically. They can grow in a pot for a season, but then you will need to plant them in the ground.
If you want to see one of David's world record breaking hibiscus flowers, you can visit La Casa Verde in Midland. Now for a look at today's top headlines, shown here in real time with real viewers on CBS7.com. See all of these stories and more by downloading our app or visiting our website at CBS7.com. And still ahead, Hurricane Idalia was upgraded to a Category 4 hurricane just before making landfall along the coast of Florida. A look at the damage next on CBS7 News at 9. Idalia whipped into Georgia and South Carolina after smashing into Florida on Wednesday with maximum sustained winds of 125 miles an hour and fury that left behind extensive damage to homes and businesses up and down the state's west coast. Jason Allen is in the town of Steenhatchee, close to where Idalia first came ashore.
Idalia unleashed its destructive force on a wide stretch of Florida's Gulf Coast. The storm made its fearsome landfall Wednesday morning as a Category 3 hurricane. Carving a long trail of destruction, Idalia landed southeast of Tallahassee in the less populated Big Bend region of the Florida Panhandle.
It went through one of our least populated corridors you could ask for it to go through.
But officials say the remote location is likely to slow the work of search teams.
The search and rescue operations have been ongoing from the moment that the storm passed.
Here in the coastal community of Steenhatchee, the 9-foot storm surge, it flooded streets and it partially submerged businesses and homes. Connie Walden rode out the storm at home. She was there when this tree landed on her roof. Did you know when you heard the boom what had happened outside?
No, had no idea. No, but everything shook.
Across the region, streets turned into rivers and winds downed power lines, leaving thousands without power. In the town of Crystal River, residents were brought to safety, while people in Tampa slogged through floodwaters.
I didn't expect to have to kind of wade through water to get here. The streets all flooded out.
No one was injured when a century-old oak tree fell on the governor's mansion in Tallahassee. After pummeling Florida, Idalia pushed into Georgia and the Carolinas, bringing the threat of more storm surge, heavy rains, and dangerous winds. Jason Allen, CBS News, Steenhatchee, Florida.
The National Hurricane Center says Idalia is now a tropical storm, but the risk of flooding, storm surge, and strong winds continue.
And it is bringing a tornado threat, wind threat, flooding threat to the Carolinas this evening. Back towards West Texas, well, we're looking at the blue moon. We'll take a look at it coming up next.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Teefertiller.
Well, let's take a look outside on a live iCam in Odessa at the super blue moon that rose about 8:30 this evening in the eastern sky, so plenty of time to watch it as it will pass overhead overnight tonight. And if you want to catch a super blue moon, it's not going to happen again until the year 2037. As we saw clear skies, really we had a few flat cumulus clouds out there. They dissipated. So we're looking at pretty quiet conditions across West Texas right now. Clear skies, lots of dry air in place out there. So great for any looking at stars, the moon this evening. We're going to see relatively nice conditions. Hang around overnight tonight. High pressure, though, is going to build in from the west. And what that means is you can say goodbye to those lower 90s as the mid to upper 90s are coming back in the forecast. Some areas could see some triple digits, but as long as this area high pressure moves across, we're going to see quiet but hot conditions in our forecast. And unfortunately, not too much in the way of rain, as we did have a couple of showers across the Edwards Plateau. No effects from Idalia here in the state of Texas, as we saw temperatures today warming up quite a bit into triple digits, cooling off some this evening across most areas. Now, as I take a look at the West Texas Futurecast, not much happening here. So if you're getting a jump start on the Labor Day travel tomorrow, weather's going to work with you. It's just going to be dry and hot for tomorrow afternoon. And that's going to continue to be the case as we move in towards the next few days, as unfortunately rain showers staying out of our forecast. Tonight will cool off a little bit. Upper 60s look to be on the way with the super blue moon and the generally clear skies out there. And then for tomorrow, here's what we're going to start off with. Nice temperatures in the morning, but they'll give way to those mid to upper 90s tomorrow afternoon, approaching triple digits out towards Pecos for your Thursday and your CBS7 First Alert exclusive 10-day forecast. Friday night football, things look okay, just a little on the hot side, and that's going to be the case for the weekend, for the Labor Day weekend, I should say, that's coming up here as we end the summer season, unofficially, of course, but we next week start meteorological fall, so hopefully things will start to change. In fact, we're looking a little bit better there as we're keeping the triple digits out of the forecast.
Next on CBS 7 News at 9, we're keeping an eye on your money with a look at what's being done to continually fight inflation. Getting cash from an ATM is costing Americans more than ever. According to an annual study by Bankrate.com, the total cost of an out-of-network withdrawal has risen to $4.73, a record high. That amount includes $3.15 charged by the ATM's owner and $1.58 charged by your bank for going outside their system. But experts say those fees are easily avoidable with just a bit of planning.
Instead, plan ahead as to where and when you make those withdrawals so you can do it in network. And if you're really in a pinch for cash, get cash back at the point of sale when you use your debit card. That's tantamount to a free withdrawal.
Atlanta has the highest average combined ATM fee at $5.33, while Boston has the lowest at $4.24. Experts recommend looking at your bank's app before withdrawing cash to locate an ATM that you can use free of charge. And still ahead, would you pay $9 for a high-end water? If the answer is yes, then stay tuned for the details of the newest aqua bar in Dubai. You won't want to miss this refreshing story. With employees using shakers and muddling fruits into glasses, this Dubai establishment looks like a typical bar. But that's not the case. The drinks here are all built around one thing: water. Take a look. The Aqua Water Bar claims to have 30 different types of water thanks to a filtration system that injects minerals into the liquid. On their menu are items like the Circuits Water, which is described as an ideal post-workout drink. Another item is the Meditate Water, which has an ultra-low degree of mineralization. The price range at the bar varies. You can refill your own water bottle for around $1 or you can buy a water cocktail for about $9. Tom, I don't know that I would pay $9 for water.
That seems a little steep, but I guess it is flavored water, so it's like buying a beverage somewhere, and it's in a fancy place in Dubai, so I'm sure it's something else.
Is it still water, though, at that point? Some of those look a little bit different.
Look like lemonades.
Yeah, lemonades.
Okay, fruit drinks, I guess, but anyway, though, you probably need a gourmet water here over the next few days. It's going to get a little hot, especially coming up this Labor Day weekend, so keep that in mind. Friday night football and your vacation plans.
Thanks for watching CBS 7 News at 9.